Thanks. We are now looking at the movement and settlement of the Bantu and the specific group we are holding, the Eastern Bantu. Of course, we shall begin by looking at these people as part of the Bantu-speaking people of East Africa. In other words, it is a small group which is part of a bigger one, of the bigger Bantu stock. But we are looking at it specifically and being called the Eastern Bantu. And being part of the bigger Bantu group, it means they are part and parcel of the Bantu. But it is a specific group known as the Eastern Bantu. When we look at the migration of these people, history tells us that their migration is not clear. So we are basing on so many theories, and it's still a mystery. It is still debatable. Up to now, we are still debating how they did what? They moved. So it's not yet clear. It's not clear. There's a lot of uncertainty. Others say they probably came from southern Congo or West Africa. So this one brings us back to the theories of their homeland. One theory that's talking about the Congo Basin theory and the Congo Basin theory or Katanga province theory, whereas another one is talking about the Cameroon Highland theory. So that's what we are looking at. The same thing applies. We are saying they could have come. That's why we are using this term, probably. Probably came from southern Congo or West Africa. That's why we are saying not clear. Their migration was gradual and seasonal. It did not take place in one day. The migration did not occur in one day. It took a long time. That's why we are calling it gradual and seasonal. And of course, we are looking at one group living, and of course, after some point, after some days, others could also move. So it was not an event of a single day, but an event that went on for some long time. Then we are told that they entered East Africa in different clans and groups, and even families. Yes, or even families. So that could have been the way they entered, in clans, groups, and families. So a different family would live, and then another one follows. Then it will be a clan, depending on how the group decided to move. So that's another important to note. Entered East Africa through the southwestern part of Tanganyika. Yes, that Tanganyikan bend, when you do the East African map, where the Lake Tanganyika just penetrates to border with the Lake Victoria. So it is the south part of Tanganyika, especially the Lake Tanganyika part, and the southern part of Lake Victoria. So where Lake Victoria is like this. And then where Lake Tanganyika and the host tribes. So we can see the two bordering each other, where this is the north of Lake Tanganyika and the south of Lake Victoria. That was the one we are calling the entry point. The entry point of the what? Of the Eastern Bantu. North of Lake Tanganyika and south of Lake Victoria. That is the entry point of these people known as the Eastern Bantu. The Eastern Bantu are said to have crossed the dry Tanganyika plateau between 1000 and 1300 AD. So from Lake Tanganyika, from the north of Lake Tanganyika, they crossed into the dry areas. These areas where there was where the place was dry, and specifically it was used for hunting, originally used for hunting, but of course with the coming of the Bantu and finding these people who were there, the hunters, they defeated them and took over. and that's where they settled in the in the Tanganyika plateau, and that was between 1000 and 1300 AD. And we said it was possible for them to disperse the people they found there because of the presence of the iron tools that they possessed. After that, after crossing into the Tanganyika plateau, it resulted into the eastward movement up to the Taita Hills. That is because of the demand for more land. As the demand for more land increased, it resulted into the eastward movement up to the Taita Hills, another highland area where they settled with ease. Why? Because the original inhabitants were very weak and were defeated with ease. Therefore, after moving into the Taita Hills, we are told that the Taita Hills now became their what? Their dispersal point. And what do we mean by dispersal? The split. It is a split. The group of the Bantu split. The Eastern Bantu split into more other small what? Groups. And that's why we see the smaller groups that emerged out of the split include the Pare. So as a result of the split, we got the Pare, we got the Chaga, we got the Taita, we got the Samba, the Duruma, the Ngueno, and all others that settled around the Taita Hills and the Kilimanjaro Hills. And of course, areas around the hills are very important. One, they have fertile soils, and that's why they settled there with ease. And one of the reasons for their migration was they need to look for areas where they could do what? Carry out agriculture, because of the outbreak of famine in their homeland. So, by settling around the Taita and the Kilimanjaro hills, they were very sure that they are now going to have an area for cultivation. Still, as a result of that split or dispersal, we had the Pokomo, Giriama, Segeju, and the Nyika. These two, the Segeju and the Nyika, later became very important participants in the long distance trade, and of course even the Indian Ocean trade, because these were the interior people who sent goods at the coast during the Indian Ocean trade. Some of the goods were transported by the Segeju and Nyika. And of course, when the Portuguese came at the coast of East Africa, the Segeju also became a threat. It's one of the problems that the Portuguese faced. The Segeju, they were known as man-eaters. So the Segeju and Nyika moved northwards around the coast up to Sumwaya. So you can see, this is also because of the need for more land. You know, the Bantu were moving like bushfire. They were eating across the entire East Africa. So because of the split here, we saw the dispersal, and having gotten all this from the split, the continuous movement resulted into the Nyika and Segeju moving northwards around the coast. So they followed the coast and they reached a place called Sumwaya. This is in the northern part. This is the northern coast of East Africa, along the coast where we see the place known as Sumwaya. But we are told that while at Sumwaya, that is along the coast, another dispersal occurred. And why did it occur? It was because of the pressure from the notorious tribes known as the Gala. They were unfriendly. By the way, the Gala in history have been so rude. These are the same people that were a threat to the early explorers. They gave trouble to Jacob Erdet and many other explorers that came in East Africa, the Gala. And of course, working among the Gala was an impossible mission for many of these missionaries. So the missionaries and explorers had trouble with the Gala. So it is the Gala who made the Nyika and the Segeju to disperse. And what does that one mean? The Nyika and Pokomo moved southwards. Because of the pressure from the Gala, they now move southwards, only to be called the coastal and the highland Bantu. Why? Why were they called coastal and highland Bantu? Because they first settled in the highland areas, like we saw, Taita and Kilimanjaro. That one now names them the highland. But then when they went along the Songwai, that was a coastal area, they got another name, which was coastal. So we can call them coastal and highland. Why? Because they settled at the coast and at the same time at the what? In the highland areas. Settling at the coast and the highland areas gave them their basic name, and that's how they came to get that name, coastal and highland. Having been dispersed by the Gala from the coastal areas, and of course getting where to settle after moving southwards along Songwaya and then settling at the coast of East Africa.